The death of Cleopatra, serpent's kiss or cruel deception. Have you ever wondered how Cleopatra, the legendary queen of Egypt, died? Was it a tragic end, a venomous snake bite, or was there more to the story? Perhaps a betrayal or a cunning ruse? Join us as we peel back the layers of history and uncover the truth behind Cleopatra's untimely demise. Long before his name became a byword in later history, Herod of Judea walked a knife's edge between survival and destruction. His life unfolded in the same age as Cleopatra and Mark Antony. But while they gambled everything on passion and empire and lost, Herod played a different game. His was a story not of doomed romance, but of shrewd survival in one of the most dangerous chapters of the ancient world. A kingdom at the crossroads. Herod ruled Judea, a small but crucial land nestled between great powers. To the west lay the glittering strength of Rome. To the south, the fabled wealth of Cleopatra's Egypt. His throne was fragile, granted not by tradition or divine right, but by the Roman Senate itself. In 40 BC, Rome had made Herod king of the Jews, with the backing of Antony and Octavian, before their partnership shattered into rivalry. Judea was no empire, but its location gave it value. Whoever ruled Rome needed client kings like Herod, men who could keep the borders loyal, send tribute, and anchor Roman influence in the east. Herod knew this. He understood that his kingdom was not his by inheritance, but by the favour of others. And in those days, that favour shifted like desert sand. Cleopatra, the rival queen. If Rome gave Herod his crown, Egypt threatened to take it away. Cleopatra VII, last pharaoh of the Ptolemies, saw Herod not as a king, but as a pawn occupying land that should belong to her. Fertile fields, coastal routes, and revenue-rich territories along Judea's borders tempted her ambition. She pressed her lover, Mark Antony, to strip Herod piece by piece. And Antony, ensnared by her beauty and political partnership, often agreed. Cities and regions once under Herod's control were handed over to Cleopatra's realm. For Herod, this was an insult he had to endure. To resist would mean defying Antony, the very man who had secured his crown. So he swallowed his pride, bowed when necessary, and waited. But inside he seethed. Cleopatra was his neighbour, his rival, and his tormentor. And she would one day fall. The tides of war. As Antony and Cleopatra's war with Octavian spiralled toward its climax, the eastern Mediterranean became a tinderbox. Allies were forced to choose sides. Herod, though humiliated by Cleopatra, remained aligned with Antony. It was Antony, after all, who had confirmed his kingship. To betray him now seemed both dishonourable and dangerous. Yet Herod was no fool. He saw that Antony was faltering, losing battles and bleeding support. He saw that Octavian, the cold and calculating heir of Julius Caesar, was positioning himself as the master of Rome. When news came of the disaster at Actium in 31 BC, where Antony and Cleopatra's fleets were shattered, Herod understood that the world had changed. Those who tied themselves to Antony would soon be swept away. The gamble with Octavian Herod made a bold and dangerous decision. He would seek out Octavian in person. Many kings and governors in the East scrambled to deny their past loyalties, some begging forgiveness, others inventing excuses. Herod chose a different approach. When he stood before Octavian, soon to be Augustus, he did not grovel. He did not deny that he had supported Antony. Instead, he admitted it openly. Antony had been his benefactor, he explained, and Herod had served him with loyalty, as any good client king should. But Antony was gone now, and the same loyalty that he had once given to Antony, he was ready to give to Octavian. It was a gamble of breathtaking audacity. He risked his throne, his kingdom, even his life. But Octavian admired honesty and pragmatism. He had no use for fickle men who changed sides too easily, but he valued steadfastness, especially when it could now be turned in his favour. Herod's candour and boldness impressed him. Octavian confirmed him as king of Judea, and Herod's rule was secured. Survivor among giants. While Antony and Cleopatra spiraled into ruin, Herod's star rose. Cleopatra ended her life with the bite of the asp, Antony with his own blade. But Herod continued to build, scheme, and thrive. In the decades that followed, he became one of Rome's most trusted client kings. He embarked on grand architectural projects meant to dazzle both his people and his Roman patrons. The harbour city of Caesarea, with its gleaming temples and amphitheatre, stood as a jewel on the Mediterranean coast. The fortress of Masada loomed over the desert, a symbol of strength against rebellion. And in Jerusalem, Herod undertook his most ambitious work, the expansion of the Second Temple, a project so monumental that it came to be known simply as Herod's Temple. Yet his reign was not one of peace. Herod was ruthless, paranoid, and often cruel. He executed rivals, even members of his own family, to protect his throne. His survival instincts, so keen in politics, made him a tyrant at home. He would be remembered as both a great builder and a dangerous despot, a different kind of legacy. And so, while history remembers Cleopatra and Antony as symbols of doomed passion, Herod represents something else entirely. Survival. Where they gambled everything on love and lost, he wagered on pragmatism and won. He endured not by romance or poetry, but by cold calculation and loyalty to the power that mattered most, Rome. Herod's choices ensured that Judea remained on the map, tied firmly into the Roman world. His monuments still whisper of his ambition, and his name, though darkened by cruelty, echoes down through history. He was not a tragic lover. He was not a hero in shining armour. He was something rarer, a man who outlived the giants of his age. In a time when empires crumbled and lovers perished, Herod the Great survived.